Alright guys, American Trucker here. Sorry it's been a long time since I've made a trucking video. I've been boring you guys, I'm sure, with my vacation videos, but that's what I've been doing for the last few weeks. And we're now getting back to the trucking side of it. I promised you a payday video. I'm a couple paydays behind, so I'm going to do 2 paychecks. And then I'll be caught up, other than after that. I took some time off again. That was where the vacation videos come in, so obviously no pay due for those weeks. But where I left off the last payday video I did, it was a terrible payday. $1,500 was my net, but the reason why it was so low is going to be the same reason why this next paycheck I'm going to show you was so high. This next paycheck was the highest net I've ever made here at Prime, but the reason is because it was extra days onto that. It wasn't 7 days, it was around 9 days, 9.5 days. So therefore, when I tell you these big numbers, keep in mind this is more than 1 week. That $1,500 week was only for like 4 days, 4.5 days. And, the rest of those days got pushed over onto this payday. So the dates were 6/10 through 6/19. So obviously that's 9 days, but it was really about 9.5, almost 10 days worth of pay onto this. And here's the numbers now. This is the numbers. These are all gross numbers before Prime takes their cut, before any deductions, fixed costs, fuel, which are part of the deductions, but all that before my 72%, all that good stuff. So anyways, on 6/10, went from Lavona, Michigan to Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. I'm not going to go into detail on this as much. I'm going to kind of quickly go through it. Some of the other videos I might have went too much detail, but I'll bore you with the details. Save you from boring you with the details, and then just kind of give you the overview. All right, and then Terrell, Texas to Robert, Louisiana. This is all one load. Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. So that's why the first load that I took was a multi-day load, and it started like on a Sunday night, early Monday morning, went all the way through Friday. So that's why it got pushed onto the following payday. So that whole week, right off the bat, I didn't use any fuel. It was a dry load, so that saved me on deductions. So there's a lot of factors, a reason why this is such a higher payday. But per mile, it's $2.85 per mile. The revenue for that load, for that basically the 10th through the 15th, was $49.56. I drove 1,739 miles for that trip. All right, the next one was on 6/16, and this is in Louisiana, Geismar, Louisiana to Newark, Delaware. Again, this was also a dry load. This was no fuel. It ended up being $2.77 per mile. The total revenue for that trip was $35.77, and the miles were 1,287 miles. And the next one was on 6/19. It was from Wilmington, Delaware to Tonawanda, New York. Now it's $4.02 per mile, $15.06 on the revenue, and 374 miles. So that was a short load. This one right here paid so well. One, it was a hazmat load. I didn't put it here, but two, I didn't put any fuel because it was a dry load. And this was 6 empty plastic barrels. So there was not even a weight on it whenever they had it. I mean, each barrel might have weighed 15 pounds. So 15 times 6, give or take. They were plastic barrels they used for hazmat. They were completely empty. But I had to take them from Delaware to New York. Wasn't that far, but it paid very well, as you can see. But again, it's because it's hazmat. And excuse me if you see, come here, Magnum down here. This is the dog, and then they bark at the wind if it blows. But anyways, I'm at home right now still. I'm going back out Monday morning. This is Saturday night, so I got 2 dogs running around here. But so that was this week's. The total was $3.21 per mile. That was the average. $10,039. That's before anything. That's before Prime takes their cutout percentage. That's before any deductions, etc. And then all miles were 3,400 miles. But again, this is also, all these numbers the average per mile is not that big of a deal. It doesn't matter really how many days. But the revenue was $10,039, but that's more than a week's worth of revenue. And 3,400 miles is more than a week's worth of miles. So the gross was 8681, and then after all deductions, the net to me was 7,091. That was for 9.5 days, almost 10 days. So that number looks big. That's the most I've ever net before on one paycheck, but that's more than 1 week. That's a week and a half almost, so to speak. So keep that in mind whenever you look at this number. But again, the reason why this one was so big, because half of this came out of the previous week's paycheck. That's why the previous week before this was only $1,500. So when you average those two together, I think that's a little over $4,000 per week net to me before taxes. So whenever I say net, I always say that's after every single thing but taxes. So once you take taxes out, that goes even smaller. But definitely can't complain about that. But what made a big difference was it was extra days. 1, 2, I ran almost 5 days here, no fuel. This one was no fuel, and these two were hazmat loads as well. So that helped me get out of Louisiana. I had to use my TWIC card, so that helped me. Some people don't have that. A lot of people don't have hazmat prime. I'm not sure if it is or isn't worth it. I've only used it about 10 times, pulled 10 hazmat loads, give or take, in 2 years. But when I've needed it, I've been in places where it got me good loads coming out. So it's really helped me. And then, of course, also this load here, that was 5 days. Not the fact that it wasn't no fuel, it was also a total of 10,900 pounds. And so for each stop, there was one pickup and three drop-offs. For each drop-off, I got rid of 3,300 pounds. So you can see how I was pulling lightweight, so I got good fuel mileage to the truck. I think I might even average like 9.6, 9.4 miles per gallon for that week. So when you add all these together, it made a really good net week for me. But like I said, I had extra days on here as well. All right, the next week was a little bit of a short week. It was only 6 days, so I had a day left on the table out of 7. But that's when I left and went on home time. So, but this is probably more of a realistic week. So on 6/20, I went to Greenfield, Indiana, picked up and then dropped off in Tar Heel, North Carolina. 6/22, Southport, North Carolina, Effingham, Illinois, and then 6/26, which was my last load for that week before I went on home time, Seymour, Indiana to Shelbyville, Tennessee. All right, the first load, I averaged $1.88 per mile. Second load, I averaged $2.34 per mile, and the third load, I averaged $2.16 per mile. The revenue on the first load was $21.46. The revenue on the second load was $22.06. And the revenue on the third one was $950. And the miles on the first load, 1,100. 940 on the second one, 440 on the third one. And the gross for that week, which again, it was 1 day short of a week, but the gross for that paycheck was $53.02. Net to me was $28.95. So that's after everything. But again, I take out taxes out of that, and then the rest I can do whatever I want to with. But I personally take out 30% of these nets right off the top, set to the side, and at the end of the year, if I don't have to pay that much in because I have enough tax deductions, great. But I always have enough to pay the max if I didn't have not 1 penny in deductions. So I take out 30%, which is more than you probably need, but I like to have that extra at the end of the year, have that cushion just in case. And then if it's less than that, great, stick it in the vacation fund, Christmas fund, or whatever I want to do with it. But the cameraman, the camera woman behind the camera just smiled whenever I said that, so I'm sure she's happy about that. So yeah, net $2,895 on that. Again, I take out taxes on that. So these are the last 2 weeks. Net $77,091. Next week, $28.95. That was my last 2 paychecks. So that's it. I haven't been doing a lot of videos because my staff, which is the woman behind the camera there, we have been working on a new channel. I mentioned that in one of our previous videos. So I'm going to be starting a new channel, and I'm going to be coming out on 7 different platforms. It's going to be another YouTube channel, of course, but I'll have a new Facebook, a new Twitter, a new TikTok, True Social, Rumble, and what else was it?
That was it.
Anyways, there's 7. I don't know how many I just mentioned, but there's 7 if I didn't mention Twitter, True Social, Rumble, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So I don't know if I got them the first time, but got them that time. So if you comment below and send me your email, I will put you on the list to be the first ones to give you the links to all those. If not, eventually, I'm getting close, but we're still working on it. Eventually, I'll put them in the links below in my description in the trucking channel. I'm still going to try to continue the trucking channel just to kind of help people out that's trying to get into trucking or want to know real-time numbers. I know, again, I've talked about payday videos before, but some people aren't fans of telling how much you make at Prime. Some people are. People have different reasons why they don't want to post their paychecks or tell about their paychecks. I get it. I understand, but I just put that out there just to give you realistic numbers. And I always mention that my first year, if you watch any of my videos, when I'm leasing with Prime, I'm leasing their truck, and then I have a lease payment. But any of these videos I've done here in 2023, I bought my own truck. So if you see the video dated 2023 and you look at any of these numbers, most of my videos, payday videos, I mentioned that I don't have a truck payment, which APU payment either. But so that makes a huge difference when you see the numbers, when I tell you my net numbers. So if you had all these net numbers that I just mentioned, you could subtract another $1,200 roughly if you had a lease payment and you were leasing at Prime and you did roughly the same week I did on average. But you know, nobody's going to do the same as somebody else each week, but you know, you can just kind of get a somewhat idea of the numbers of where we're at right now. The freight market is not that great, and but it's manageable right now, even if you had a lease payment. And then you know, the first year I just kind of worked hard and set myself up in a position to where if this happened, I didn't know it was going to happen, like be this bad, but if it did, I was, you know, in a pretty comfortable position. And I understand most people aren't in that position. It's just that that's the way it worked out for me, luckily, and I'm definitely blessed in that area. But anyways, like I said, I got a new channel coming out. Send me your email in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, and then when I'm ready to release the new channel, I'll let you guys know. And then I think that's it. If you got any questions or comments on this particular payday video or anything to do with Prime leasing that I can answer, or leasing onto Prime with your own truck, again, put a comment below and then I'll try to respond back to you. And that's it, guys. American Trucker, I'm out.